The Secret Misses. Chapter 1161. However, now, he had to compromise. If history was toppled, he would be done for too. Boss, I know how I can find Elias. Give me 2 days, but, even if I can contact him, I can't guarantee that he will help us. James understood Elias a little. To hire someone as unpredictable as him to help history was not an easy task. As long as he's capable, we'll fulfill whatever requirement he needs, said Emma. Okay, boss, I understand. James nodded and then left. After he went out, James took out his phone, checked his phone log and made a call. Hey James, what's up? A cheerful voice came from the other side of the phone. Jill, I need help with something, James said. The great designer James needs something from me. What is it? Jill, do you remember that Italian Chinese called Elias? James went straight to the point and told him that he wanted to find Elias. There was an awkward silence after James blurted out Elias's name. After a while, Jill cautioned, James, I was once in the same class as Elias. He studied design just for fun. You don't understand that maniac at all. You have to stay away from him, James, I'm not kidding. Jill, that maniac, what did he do? James could hear her tone of fear when he mentioned Elias. Elias was on the blacklist of the underground powers in several countries. You could never imagine the things he did. That crazy dude once offended an Italian mafia gang and they sent hundreds of men to kill him, but the hundreds of men vanished that night. They couldn't find them up until now. James was shocked and stopped in his tracks. That's not all. The next night, that maniac finished off the whole mafia. The gang leader and core members were all found dead in their villa. It was reported that their internal organs were all removed with a scalpel and a few of them were stitched together. There's even a mural of a grave on the wall. Who did it? Was it Elias? James whispered. Who knows? People were saying it was Elias who did it, but there was no proof. If it's really Elias, nobody knows how he even brought down the whole gang in just one night. He even finished off the boss and the core members. James felt a chill travel down his spine as he swore to himself that he never wanted to have anything to do with that maniac. Unfortunately, for Emma, he still had to look for him. Jill, do you have Elias's contact? James sighed. Okay, James, I'll give you his contact number. Good luck. After he ended the call and having finally got his hands on Elias's contact number, he felt uneasy. Following some consideration, he was too afraid to call the maniac, so he sent Elias a text. Elias bro, I'm James. Do you remember Ma? A notification soon lit up James's phone. Who's your ma? Chapter 1162. Damn it. He felt nervous when he thought of the terrible rumors of Elias, so he had typed in terror and made a typo, putting Ma instead of me. Bro Elias, do you remember me? I'm James, a friend of Jill's. We've met before in Italy. James retyped his message multiple times, then picked the one he thought was most suitable to send. Oh, James, I don't know you. James felt a little awkward staring at his reply. They had really met before in Italy. In fact, he had sat right beside Jill. Bro Elias, you must be too busy. We did meet before. You're course mates with Jill, aren't you? I'm a good friend of hers. Even though Elias had forgotten about him, he could not have forgotten about Jill. What's the matter? Elias replied. Bro Elias, I found out that you're an Imperial now. So am I, how coincidental. I'd like to meet you to catch up. James struggled to send this message. He kind of hoped that Elias would agree to meet him, yet a part of him hoped that Elias would decline. If Elias declined, then he did not have to deal with such a dangerous person anymore, but it would mean he failed to deliver what he promised to Emma. I'm eating at the finger-licking goods store. It's on the west side of the Oriental East building. It's KFC, isn't it? James asked hesitantly. KFC, without the isn't it, dot. James was speechless. He lost a few years of life just texting this guy. After he received Elias's location, James was still contemplating. Should he really meet that maniac? However, as he reminded himself about Emma and history's current situation, James knew what he had to do. James toughened himself up and drove to meet Elias. After some time, James stood outside of KFC's entrance. He took a deep breath before he entered. Elias was easy to spot. He had the looks of a classic Asian hunk. Elias was wearing a sporty outfit with his long black hair tied into a ponytail. He also wore a black snapback on his head and looked cool as usual. Several sweet-looking girls were in front of Elias, all staring at him. Hello, why, do you mind giving me your contact number? Before James went up to him, several girls around the age of 18 were gathered around Elias. Elias raised his head a little and glanced at the girls. He seemed to be experienced in situations like this, so he ignored them. The few girls just left without a word. Ha ha ha, my bro Elias. I'm James. James grinned at him as he went up to him. Sit. Elias looked at the empty seat in front of him. Order whatever you like, pay for yourself. It's all right, I ate before I came. James forced a smile. You're James, huh? I have some vague impression of you. What's the matter? Be straightforward, I don't like people wasting my time. Elias then gobbled up the chicken he had, though he still looked unsatisfied. Alright, bro Elias, I currently work at History. My boss knows how capable you are, so we'd like to invite you to join History. James dared not to beat around the bush with him and went straight to the point. Chapter 1163. Get me a few more chickens first. I'm not full yet. Elias looked at James with a bored expression. Sure. James stood up immediately and ordered 5 Orleans drumsticks. He took the tray with the chicken on it and carefully placed it in front of Elias. About what you said just now, I'm not interested. Elias munched on the chicken as he replied James nonchalantly. James was speechless. You ate 5 Orleans drumsticks that I bought and now you say you're not interested? Bro Elias, my boss said that as long as you can help us to overthrow Spirit, we'll fulfill whatever you need. James tried to convince him. Spirit, Elias put on a thinking face. Boss, I found Elias. He's right beside me. Alright, I'll turn the speaker on, so you can speak to him personally. James called Emma right away and put the call on speaker. A gentle female voice was heard on the phone. Hello Mr. Elias, Didn't I just tell you that I'm not interested? Elias glared coldly at James. For just a moment, James felt a chill shudder throughout his body. He ended the phone call immediately without giving any chance for Emma to speak. I'm sorry. Cold sweat ran down James's brow. Although Elias looked calm, a glare from him made James feel like it was oddly difficult to breathe. That's all right, Elias said. Yes, please carry on with your meal. Do call me if there's anything. Oh, texting is fine as well. James then left the shop awkwardly. After Elias finished the chicken, he licked his hand and then left, heading towards the direction of History's headquarters. Wait. What are you looking at? I'm talking about you. On the first floor of History's headquarters, a few security guards stopped Elias, who was dressed in a sports outfit. Do you know where this is? Who do you think you are to come in? One of the guards pointed his electric baton at Elias threateningly. Not just anyone could enter History's headquarters. Their boss was the renowned celebrity, Emma, and numerous media and paparazzi wanted to go in every day. Put away your toys. Elias put on an odd smile when the electric baton was pointed at him as his clear eyes started to change. You look just like a sissy. Go away. The security guard impatiently demanded. Elias ignored him and walked right past the few guards with a couple of deft steps, then went right into the headquarters. Are you deaf? Who is this guy looking for trouble? The few guards were enraged. A few days ago, they were informed not to let any media reporters go in, especially strangers. Seeing this person in a sports outfit ignoring them, one of the guards attacked Elias with his electric baton. These security guards were playing by the rules. They could not aim at the troublemaker's head because they would be held responsible if something bad happened, so they aimed at his body instead. Whoosh! The baton swung down with a considerable amount of force. Bang! The next moment, the security guard was shocked. Elias did not even turn around. He had simply blocked the electric baton by pointing a finger at his back. Chapter 1164. The few remaining guards were all surprised. Did he just stop the electric baton with a finger? That baton was swung by a guard weighing 180 pounds. Didn't I just say, to keep your toys away? Elias slowly turned around and there was a flash of morbid insanity in his eyes. Under the aghast expressions of the guards, the electric baton had been broken into half by Elias's right hand. Big bro. This way here. Please let us know if you need anything. The security guards suddenly did 180-degree change and succumbed to him. The other guards were frightened and had broken out into a cold sweat as well. Was this beautiful man before them even human? Could he be some sort of demon or ghoul? Elias did not continue to care about the guards. Instead, he turned around and walked right into History's headquarters. With the presence of Mr. Elias, History's headquarters instantly exploded into a frenzy. Ooh, so pretty. Even prettier than our big boss, Emma. Such a pretty girl. Those female celebrities whose popularities rely on their faces aren't even this pretty. Are you blind? Such beauty, it must be a boy. Bro Elias, why are you here? James, who was ready to go out, thought his eyes had deceived him when he saw Elias as soon as he stepped out of Emma's office. Quickly, come in. James immediately went up to lead Elias into Emma's office. At that moment, Emma was flipping through some documents in the office when she heard James's voice. She frowned and was about to say something when she noticed a beautiful man walk in with James into her office. James, this is... Emma's eyes could not help but closely assess Elias, then she asked. Emma had seen Elias's pictures from fashion magazines, but they were all quite blurry and he also looked different now, which was why she could not immediately recognize Elias. When he heard her, James quickly walked up and introduced with a huge smile, "Boss, this is Elias." Elias? When she heard it was Elias, Emma was stunned for a moment. This graceful man before her was once the mad genius of Italy's fashion design industry. Mr. Elias, I have been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. Emma immediately got up from her chair and walked up to extend her right hand towards Elias. However, Elias merely walked past Emma and sat on her chair instead. He then propped his feet up on the table and asked plainly, "So, History's boss, what do you need me for?" When he saw Elias's attitude towards Emma, James was afraid that Emma would be offended and that things could get out of hand, so he wanted to explain, "Boss, Elias, he's like this, don't." Nevertheless, Emma just watched the man's antics and did not seem to care. She put down her arms and turned to face Elias. As she smiled, she said, "Mr. Elias, I've been meaning to meet you but it looks like you've heard a bit from James." "No worries, I can repeat it again." "I'm listening," said Elias as he lowered his hat, looking like he was about to fall asleep. "Mr. Elias, let me first introduce myself. I'm Emma, History's owner, and History is a high-end luxury fashion brand. As for myself, I admire all of your past work, thus I'd like to hire you handsomely as History's design consultant." Emma got right to the point. Chapter 1165. Oh, History's design department? Isn't there anyone else? Elias leaned back into Emma's chair and stacked both feet up on her expensive desk as he smirked at her. When Elias said this, it was a little hard for James to keep a straight face. He was the head of the design department. However, James did not dare to lose his temper at Elias, so he could only smile carefully and go with whatever Elias said. "I won't hide, Mr. Elias. History's design team is lacking inspiration recently and our market share has been taken over by our company's biggest rival. Otherwise, we wouldn't have thought of troubling you, said Emma, not bothering to tread carefully. Her priority now was to overpower Spirit, everything else could be discussed. She understood that those with talents were always slightly more eccentric. As long as he had the capability, it did not matter. Spirit, mumbled Elias. He had looked into Spirit's apparels and felt that the designer was indeed a genius. From the outfit's designs to its charm, they were all perfect. In just this aspect, it had outdone history too much. The current history could only continue to fight with Spirit because it had become a market leader earlier, and the consumers had a strong first impression of it. Plus, history's past famous works had initially gone viral thanks to the media. Otherwise, history would have been long gone and overpowered by Spirit. Frankly, it was a company that was on the verge of danger. Even though it looked alright on the surface, over time, if history still could not produce attractive work, they would be completely destroyed by Spirit. It was just a matter of time. Spirit's designer was indeed worthy of being called a genius. Such a person and his work actually got Elias excited. Even though he had only studied fashion design out of boredom back then, as long as there was something that sparked his interest, he was glad to continue dabbling in it regardless of the field. When she saw that Elias was having a long contemplation, Emma smiled and asked, "I wonder if you know of Spirit's brand?" Elias did not answer Emma's question. In his mind, he recalled the few designs in Spirit's store from that night. They were elegantly classic with a unique flavor and charm to them. In addition to that, those few designs had ignited quite a bit of his creative inspiration. Had it been him, he would have torn that charm from the East into fragments and break the traditional yolks to create a deathly and black-colored feast. "I'm quite interested in Spirit." Elias fixed his hat straight and there was a burning radiance in his eyes. That night, he told Luna that Spirit's designer was not as good as him, yet that woman still did not believe him and even made cutting remarks. He saw no harm in warming up and comparing himself with Spirit's talented designer to see whose work could be full of unstoppable charm. Emma examined the handsome man before him and her eyes shone. Did this mean they had a deal? "Mr. Elias, if possible, I would like to hire you to become history's head designer for a handsome fee," announced Emma as she smiled gently at Elias. "Boss." James's expression instantly changed into an incredulous one. He wanted to say something but had been received a warning glare from Emma. James had mixed emotions. He had gone through all the trouble to invite Elias over today, yet his boss Emma had let Elias take over his position. They had already discussed beforehand that he was only invited to cope with the emergency at hand. Chapter 1166. "Huh. I'm not interested, I'm only interested in Spirit," said Elias as a cold sparkle twinkled in his eyes. When she heard that Elias was not interested, Emma was obviously disappointed and James was secretly relieved. "Mr. Elias, may I just ask one more thing? Do you actually have a history with Spirit?" When she thought about this, Emma could not help but look gleeful. "Nah, I'm just bored," said Elias with a shady smile. Okay." Emma felt a little awkward. Elias was just as the rumors said. He would only do what he fancied and did not need any reason at all. "How much in rewards do you need to be willing to take on the task?" Emma tried to ask again. "0. I'm just getting an itch, that's all," Elias simply said, startling them even more. At Peachwood, Luna had finally ended her outstation work trips and was free, so she had prepared to spend the day with the big and little bun. However, just as she was ready to get some groceries from the supermarket, her phone rang. It was Tiffany. Theo had obviously seen the name on the screen from the corner of his eye. When she received the superior wife's, no, the superior's boss's look, Luna immediately turned on the loudspeaker before picking up the call. "Hello, Tiffany." "Luna, I've got something to tell you." "Are you free now?" From Tiffany's tone, what was she trying to say? Well. Luna swallowed her saliva. Could she say no? Definitely not. Thus, Luna could only force herself to say with a straightforward and upright expression, "Yeah, I'm free. Go ahead. My father and my grandfather already know about you saving me and Margot from the night before," said Tiffany from the other end of the phone. When she heard this, Luna felt her legs go weak as she looked miserably at the poker-faced devil beside her. Damn it. She was dead. She had painstakingly kept it a secret for so long, but at last, she was still caught off guard. What worried her even more was that the devil seemed so calm. Could this be the calm before the storm? Luna, are you still listening to me? When Luna suddenly went silent, Tiffany asked from the other end of the phone curiously. Yes, I'm here. How did your father and grandfather find out? Didn't we already say that we won't tell your family? How's Margot? Did he get a terrible beating? Luna asked gloomily. Margot was whipped by my father. He got a pretty deep wound, but it's been treated and it's all right now. Thankfully, I'm okay, or else, my father would have really killed him. Luna, we really have you to thank. Tiffany sighed. Tiffany, is there anything else? Luna asked. Because if there was nothing else, she was going to hang up and accept the devil's punishment. Tiffany quickly continued, Oh, I almost forgot the main thing. My father and my grandfather want to treat you to dinner today. They told me that I must invite you over. Well. Luna was hesitant, then she secretly stole a look at the devil. The thing was, she did not know how long she would need to kneel on the washboard and whether she could leave. The calmer the devil looked, the more afraid she was. Arg. Chapter 1167. Luna, you must come this time. If we don't thank you for this, our family won't feel good. Of course, it's not just for the night before. A lot has happened recently. I've told my parents about it, and my mother especially applied for leave from the military to rush home to meet you. Tiffany said quickly. Well. Even Kier's mother had returned? She heard that Madame Zhuang's work was highly confidential and that she would only come home a few times a year. Actually, you really didn't have to go through all the trouble. I was just helping out. We're friends. Do you still have to thank me for helping you? Besides, you've helped me out before too. Luna, those things I helped you with were nothing. It wasn't even anything. Whatever it is, this is a must, and if you don't come, my family won't feel good. Tiffany insisted with a serious tone. Since Tiffany had put it as such and Madame Sterling had applied for leave, Luna thought about it and decided it was not good to reject, so she could only say, Okay, got it, I'll go over. That's it then. I'll wait for you. Tiffany hung up happily. After they hung up, Luna quickly ran to the kitchen and found a washboard. Then, she decided it was not enough and suddenly dug up a durian before appearing before the devil. Luna held the washboard in one hand and the durian in the other as she stood before Theo and looked up to him. Her expression was as flattering as she could be. My dear, choose one. As long as you won't be angry. Theo remained expressionless. His eyes skimmed the washboard and the durian in her hand, then the space between his brows tripped as if he was about to collapse. You think this is enough? Was this not enough? Luna instantly felt like a bolt from the blue had just struck her. She looked hopeless and threw the things in her hands away, then whipped out her fatal weapon. Oh! She wailed as she hugged the little bun's leg. Little bun, save me. Mommy? Little Treasure tilted his head in confusion. Even though he did not know why Mommy wanted him to save her, he hugged his mother with determination as he shot a mean look at his father with a protective pose. You know that she did something wrong, don't you? Theo looked at his son and said coldly. The little bun looked at Mommy first, then continued to look vengefully at father without hesitation. Basically, his attitude shouted, My mommy is right. Even if she's wrong, she's right. Luna continued to pretend to cry and hug the little bun. Theo was speechless. As he watched the mother and son duo, the ice on Theo broke and he pinched the space between his brows. Enough, I already know about it. When Luna heard him, she was stunned. Huh? What did the devil mean? You already knew? Luna's eyes widened. Did you really think you hid it very well? Theo looked at her disdainfully from the corner of his eye. Luna swiftly went with the flow and brown-nosed him. My dear, you really do love me. My acting is so good, yet you saw through me immediately. Theo shot her a look from the side again. Practice makes perfect. Luna was speechless. How many times had she done this for him to be so polished? Chapter 1168. Luna thought about it and suddenly remembered something. I just heard the news that a hidden illegal casino has been destroyed and that all the punks present were arrested. The police station almost couldn't fit them all, so, was it you? The more she thought about it, the more she felt it must have been Theo. Theo did not say anything. He remained in his cool and elegant posture. Luna instantly let go of the little bun and snuggled into the big bun's embrace. She hopped up to kiss the man's chin. Big boss, thank you. She had used a lot of energy to console both the big bun and the small bun. After she promised to make up for it in the future, Luna made her way to the Sterling family's residence. The moment she reached the military district yard, there were men ready to bring her to the Sterling residence. At the residence gate, a graceful and subdued woman waited. When she saw the girl beside the security guard, the woman looked suspicious and did not walk over to greet her. Luna. You're here. Behind her, Tiffany ran out from inside the house and greeted the girl beside the guard. Luna smiled. Tiffany. When she confirmed that this girl in a light pink dress with waist-length hair was Luna, Jessica gaped in disbelief. Tiffany, this is the Luna you guys talked about? Luna was prepared to accompany Theo and the little bun today, so she looked very domesticated like a true well-behaved maiden. She was probably poles apart from what Jessica had imagined her to look like. Yes, mother. Tiffany led Luna to Jessica and introduced her to Luna. Luna, this is my mother. Madam Sterling, nice to meet you, Luna greeted her. The woman before her was probably in her 30s, at most. She had an oval-shaped face with red phoenix eyes and her aura was a classic beauty. She practically looked like sisters with Tiffany and Luna could not hide the marvel in her eyes. Nice to meet you. Good girl, I finally meet you. I've heard them describe you and I didn't think you would be such a beautiful, well-mannered girl. Quickly, come in and we'll continue. Jessica intimately pulled Luna by the hand and led her into the house. Jessica had never met Luna before and had only heard the description of her from her husband and children. They said that her marksmanship was more amazing than Margot's and that her combat was remarkable, and how she did not flinch when killing the drug lords. From all of that, she had always thought Luna was an especially tough girl. She did not think she would be this obedient and sweet. In the living room, Margot was holding onto an English dictionary with a long-standing resentment, but when he saw Luna, his eyes lit up the way a fan would when meeting their idol. Sis, you're here. Have a seat. Then, he served her tea and brought her some dessert. Today, Margot had worn a simple white tee and jeans. This 18-year-old was in the spring of his lifetime and oozing with youthfulness. Luna sized him up and could not help but tease, if you looked like this before, would your girlfriend have run off with someone else? Margot was embarrassed from the teasing. Sis Luna, don't expose my dark past. Did I? I'm calling you handsome. Ha ha ha, really? When she saw how her spoilt child had become the way he was now, Jessica felt a mix of emotions and her gaze at Luna filled with gratitude. You guys continue to chat here. I still have 2 dishes to finish. When Margot heard her, he immediately extended his hand and insisted, Mother. Mother, don't go. Let the nanny do it. Chapter 1169. Jessica replied unhappily, we have a guest, so of course, I must cook a few dishes to show my sincerity. Yes, we have a guest. At least, she knows that you want to thank her, or else, she'd think you want to repay with revenge. Margot mumbled. Jessica immediately shot him a look. Even though she was angry, there was still love in her eyes. You brat. Tiffany leaned into Luna's ears and laughed as she explained, my mother's not great at cooking. Ah. There was indistinct envy in Luna's eyes as she watched at the interaction between Madame Jessica and her children. Luna, have fun with Tiffany and Margot for a while. Dinner will be ready soon. Okay, don't worry about me. Moments later, dinner was ready. On the round table, the Sterling family was gathered at an unusual occasion. Jonathan picked up his wine glass and stood up first. Luna, a toast to you. Luna was overwhelmed by this and quickly stood up with her glass too. Sis Luna, I want to drink to you too. Bottoms up for me, but you can do as you wish. You're a girl, don't drink too much. Then, Margot downed his drink. Luna laughed as she shook her head. He finally remembered that she was a girl. Then, Tiffany and Jessica all offered her a toast too. Finally, it was Elder Chief Sterling's turn. Before he got up, Luna quickly stood up and said, Elder, if you do that, I really don't deserve this. The entire meal was very cheerful, probably because the woman of the house was back, so the entire atmosphere was much warmer. During dinner, Jessica liked Luna the more she talked to her. She even pushed her own children away and forced Luna to take home all the gifts she had brought home. She almost gave her the jade bangle on her wrist too, but it was turned down gracefully by Luna. She only took home gifts like local specialties, which impressed her enough. It was already very late. At last, Jonathan delegated his security guards to send her home. After Luna left, in the master bedroom, Jessica looked to her husband and muttered, Is Luna really Rebecca's daughter? I've investigated it thoroughly. I can't be wrong. Jonathan lit a cigarette and said confidently. Jessica's gaze was cold. Who would have thought that that isolated sister could give birth to such a wonderful daughter? Thankfully, because she grew up in the village, she's so obedient. If she had been left beside her to be raised, I'm not sure how she would have turned out. It's best to speak less about it. Jonathan sighed. I still think there's something fishy about Luna being shunned out of the Brown family. In fact, it might be related to that adopted daughter. Jessica muttered, then she asked, What's the elder planning to do? Are we going to accept her as kin? Then, the Brown family made a poor judgment and can't differentiate good from the bad. It's fine if we don't know, but we can't just sit back and not care even we do. The elder said that he's still not over the incident from years before, but he loves Luna and told me to take good care of her. Jonathan said. Of course, we must. The Sterling family isn't watching Luna because she was born from her womb, but because we really like this child. There are no qualms about it. Once his wife put it like that, Jonathan felt lighthearted and everything became clear at once. You're right. Jessica was still worried. You old man, what do you know about taking care of people? You even wanted to recruit such a delicate girl into the military. The report I submitted should be done soon. Wait for me to return, then I'll handle this. Jonathan laughed, I'll have to trouble you then, my wife. Chapter 1170. After she returned from the Sterling family, Luna quickly rushed to Platinum Palace to accompany the big and small buns. She even made time the next day to go to Ocean Park with them. A short break later, she delved back into the path of earning money for marriage. Spirit had been enjoying rapid progress recently, and their market share began to overtake History by leaps and bounds. History began to be questioned by the media and public over their performance. Ever since those striking designs that made their name and put History at the top dwindled, History started to go downhill and released new design at a slower pace. Unfortunately, none of them could achieve the quality of their famous pieces, and they even resorted to plagiarizing their own past work, upsetting all their customers. On the other hand, History's greatest rival, Spirit, did not stop with their energy. They had new products on the racks every other time and their design quality was very balanced. This also earned Spirit a lot of diehard fans. On History's official Weibo forum, there were some onlookers who questioned History every day. They caused many of History's loyal fans to be upset and even spew vulgarities. What about Spirit? They're just a counterfeit copy of History's concept. If it were not for History's breathtaking opportunity that opened up the market to more potential, Spirit would not have gotten to where it is today. Every industry has its bottleneck phase. Designers aren't gods either. Inspiration takes time. Some of these useless people are so lowly. You're all just hired by Spirit, aren't you? This is so funny. You're saying that history plagiarized Spirit's design ideas. Do your parents know you're so good at writing? I'm not sure where Spirit was when history's brand became famous. I think there really is plagiarism for sure, but it's Spirit plagiarizing history's ideas. History is tolerating them to not fuss over minor matters, but now they dare to hit back. What a trashy brand. Only trashy people would like a trashy brand like Spirit. I think we should speak with truth. History's initial pieces were indeed very stunning, so history easily took over the entire market and won initial success. But look at Spirit's old designs. They're indeed very similar to history's famous designs, but they had more charm. This was what history did not do at the start. Perhaps, this whole plagiarism thing might not be a baseless claim. As for whether anyone copied the other, it should not be based on which brand had succeeded first. That guy up there is obviously Spirit's 50 cents party. Spirit probably paid you more than 50 cents, huh? Plus 10086 points to that. What a joke. History's retarded fangirls are like crazy dogs, biting anyone they catch with no rationale at all. I'm laughing, I just want to say to Spirit's 50 cents party, EFF off. Spirit's retarded 50 cents party is pure dumbass. Spirit and history's loyal supporters exploded on Weibo and even made it to the latest hot topics. At history's headquarters, Emma looked at the hot topics on Weibo on her phone. News about history and Spirit spilled all over the pages. Now, the online news was all over the rivalry and most of the fingers pointed at Spirit copying history. It looked like more netizens were joining the conversation. Emma's mouth curved into a smile. James, how's Elias's design coming along? Emma put down her phone and looked to James to ask. Well. James stunned, then he shook his head and shrugged to show that he did not know. Ever since Elias came to history, he had completely taken over the design department and even the department's employees had been chased out by him. The entire department consisted of only Elias. Chapter 1171. Usually, James would not be willing to interact with Elias, so he rarely went to the design department. Emma knew to strike while the iron was hot. Now that most of the netizens thought that Spirit was copying them, they could topple over Spirit once and for all if Elias could design a high-quality apparel in this short period of time. Follow me to the design department, Emma ordered as she made her way out of the office and walked towards the design department. Helplessly, James followed after her. Moments later, in history's design department. The originally snow-white wall had been scribbled to a complicated mess by Elias using watercolor pen, and it was filled with images that were hard to comprehend. Mr. Elias, when can you show us some of your work? When she stepped into the department, Emma stared at Elias who was sitting on the chair and smiled. Elias lifted his cap to peek at her and did not respond to Emma. He only leafed through the drafts on his table. Emma received the hint and walked up to him, spreading out the design drafts and examining them closely. This. Moments later, there was astonishment in Emma's eyes. There were a total of 10 design drafts of various apparels. If one were to look at them individually, they looked run-of-the-mill and did not seem particularly attractive, but once you put the 10 pieces together, the uniqueness of Elias's designs were finally revealed to Emma and James. The contents, if the completed drafts, had an irresistible charm that made one want to dive into it. Just one look would make one completely sink into it. Darkness, suffering, and death. The entire artistic direction is supernatural, creating a kind of dejected feel. The detailed motifs add a sense of witchcraft, and with the abyss, the night, a looming curse, loneliness, despair, it all makes one feel like they have reached hell on earth just by looking at it. James examined the assembled drafts and felt his forehead break out in a cold sweat. This was a completely avant-garde style with the dark elements. It reached the peak of unconventionality, yet this kind of Gothic style was not completely unacceptable. It could even be called perfection. Even a plain woman would have an increase in charisma once donning this outfit, and that unnamed arrogance would only virtually create a stronger presence. This is so beautiful. Most importantly, this was just simply unique and eye-catching. It would definitely fit with the crowd's hunt for novelty. Emma's eyes lit up. She had seen similar styles from other designs that used darkness and death as a theme, but to be frank, the entire style would cause people to be uncomfortable and even a little fearful. Ultimately, people would not even wear them. On the other hand, Elias's design had an entirely different feel to it. Even though it was full of murky colors of despair, there was no murderous vibe to it. Instead, it held an extremely elegant and vintage flavor of the mysterious Oriental culture. Even Emma herself could not help but want to own this piece. How long did you take to design this? Emma retrieved her gaze reluctantly and asked Elias. What's the meaning behind your question? I'm just a little curious. Then, it's best that you rein in that curiosity back in. Elias was expressionless, yet his eyes could chill one to the bone. Chapter 1172. Elias's attitude made Emma displeased, but neither was Elias James, nor was he an employee of history. In fact, she had to borrow Elias's hand to throw spirit into the bottomless abyss, so she could only hold it in for now. Don't take it to heart, Mr. Elias, I'm just casually asking. As for your design, I'm in full admiration of your work, so I'm planning to mass-produce it. Emma finished and started to examine the designs again. However, within a few breaths, Emma frowned. Before this, she had not noticed it, but there was an obvious flaw. All of the designs had lacked bodies. Mr. Elias, there's a slight flaw with your designs. Emma put the designs back onto the table before Elias and pointed out. When he saw this, Elias stood up and looked at Emma with eyes that revealed no human emotion. Being sized up by Elias like this, she was not sure why, but Emma felt her entire body turn stiff. Can an incoherent rookie like you know what a flaw is? Elias's lips curled up and revealed a devilish smile. There are no perfect designs. Perfection is an imperfection in itself. If that is so, why should I rack my brains to pretend to achieve perfection? Oh, bro, Elias is right. Boss is just worried about you, so please don't take it to heart. James stammered. Even if he did offend Emma, he dared not to step on Elias's toes. In fact, his boss was really not well versed in this aspect, yet she had questioned Elias's work. Wait till she riled up this crazy Elias, then she would know what a flaw was. He was afraid that trouble would implicate the innocent and he would be turned into a flaw by Elias. Bro, Elias, this design must be trying to express that perfection is a form of ugliness, and we should just admit our shortcomings. That's a kind of beauty in itself. James smiled widely as he brown-nosed. What do you know? Elias pulled down his cap again and leaned back. I'm just lazy to continue designing flaws. When he heard this, James's face turned gloomy and he felt awkward. Elias was being a little too straightforward. Then, Mr. Elias, what are you trying to say? Emma inquired. Emma was not confident. Even if there were some flaws and despite not being able to resist the charm of this apparel, she did not know what Elias meant. This person was so weird. History can produce this piece, but the numbers cannot exceed 50 units, said Elias plainly. 50? You mean to make it a limited edition? My work is meant to be looked at, not for profit. Understand? Elias replied. Okay, I understand, I'll produce 50 first. Emma thought about it and agreed in the end. After all, as long as Elias stayed in their company, they would have many more of such work, and even if the production was little, it could improve history's branding. Mr. Elias, I wonder what this outfit should be called? Emma asked before she left. Black Religion, Elias answered. Very soon, Elias's Black Religion was finally been produced by history. There were a total of 50 pieces, no more, no less. And the first outfit from Black Religion had been kept for Emma's personal collection. Subsequently, Emma invited all the huge fashion magazines and some influential fashion houses to view history's latest masterpiece. Chapter 1173. Black Religion was magical. Each and every piece in the line had different colors and styles. After being published in the media, every socialite in Imperial visited history and wanted to buy its products. However, history released news that each piece of Black Religion outfit would only be limited to 50 units and that it would not be for sale at the moment. In just a few days' time, the price of every piece of Black Religion outfit was hiked up to the unbelievable prices of 7 figures. And because of Black Religion, history's sales boosted significantly. They became even more popular than before. On Weibo, Black Religion shot to the top of the hot topic list. The moment Black Religion was released, Spirit was gravely criticized by many. Spirit is the joke of the century. Do they dare to say that history's potential is lost? Their level is totally different. Do you know Black Religion? It's priced at 7 figures now and it's limited to 50 pieces worldwide. History's the real deal. If Black Religion were to be mass-produced, do you think Spirit can survive? Don't be so cocky just because you are a supporter of history. It's true that Black Religion is good, but no one knows what will happen next. Spirit's dogs, where are you? Where were the ones who said history was coming to an end? Spirit is really shameless. They reek of a disgusting smell. Not only did they plagiarize history, they even looked down on history, and now they've gone all quiet when Black Religion is released. History's newly released line made their fans go crazy and the voices of Spirit supporters quickly faded away. Most of Spirit's fans urged Spirit to come up with a new series better than Black Religion, or else they would turn their backs on them. In Spirit's office, Luna stared at the Black Religion article on the fashion magazine and frowned. Impossible. Angelo stared at the magazine in his hand. James could have never designed something like this. You mean? Luna actually understood what Angelo meant. If James was really this capable, would he really need to steal Angelo's designs earlier? I'm not sure. Angelo shook his head. But I can guarantee that James is not this talented. I think someone else is helping history. Whether or not someone is helping history, Black Religion has already been created. It's a fatal blow to Spirit. History's market share has been way higher than ours recently. It's going to be bad if this goes on any longer, Luna said. But isn't it just Black Religion that's taking the world by storm? Director Angelo, why don't you create a white religion and counter history? Freya made a cup of coffee for Luna while she cheered Angelo on. It's not easy. Dread filled Angelo's eyes. Black Religion's popularity isn't a fluke. Ancient Oriental elements of darkness were incorporated and it merges perfectly with the concept of Buddhism's core idea. It's a real beauty. Freya was surprised. Was Black Religion really this powerful? To the point that even the difficult Angelo found it hard to surpass? Chapter 1174. Moreover, this design was specifically made to counter us by using one extreme concept to counter another. Who could it be? Angelo clenched his fists in frustration. Luna did not know much about fashion design, but as a woman, she knew when she saw a good one. Truthfully, she really loved Black Religion. If it was not from history themselves, she would have laid her hands on one. Boss, give me some time. Angelo looked serious. I believe in you. Luna smiled. It seemed like Angelo had met his opponent. After all, it was not really a bad thing since competition drove the best to the maximum potential. Still, Luna was curious as well. Which expert had history hired to go up against Spirit? Like Angelo said, Black Religion was specifically made to counter Spirit, by attacking Spirit's extreme design style. After she left the company, Luna was feeling annoyed and wanted to release her stress. Black Religion probably reminded her of someone else. A person she had met before had the aura that matched the Black Gothic elements perfectly. She then made a phone call. What's up? A lazy voice came through the phone. God, what are you doing? Luna smiled amusedly. Nothing, on abstinence. Training. Luna was speechless. Elias, please talk properly. If not, I'm going to slap you hard, Luna scolded him. How much do you hate your hand? Aren't you afraid that it might break after slapping me? Stop trash talking. God, please teach me a few skills, Luna said. Does this count as returning you the favor the last time? Nope. It was really difficult for him to owe her a favor, so she was not going to let him off so easily. Oh, I'm not going then. God, don't be like this. I'll treat you to a meal at KFC. Where are you? I'll be there. Luna was speechless again. If someone were to offer him a meal, Elias would surely be there. He would not even be late for half a second. KFC was his favorite. Looking at the way Elias ate and his enormous appetite, Luna shook her head. He wasted the beautiful face he was born with. 5 more Orleans baked chicken wings. Elias called out. Stop eating. I'll bring you to a nice place. Before he could finish, Luna dragged Elias away and into her car. A while later, at a taekwondo center, Elias looked around in confusion. This is the nice place you mentioned? Come on, God, teach me a few skills. Luna looked at him admiringly. Although this guy was mad, he was a powerful fighter. Every time she trained with second senior brother, she was criticized again and again. She wanted to learn something new to counter him. I'm not interested in fighting in front of these trash. Elias flopped down on the floor lazily. Kid, who did you just call trash? The next moment, a few big guys went up to him. The one who had spoken was a fat guy. Judging by his body size, he probably weighed about 120 kilograms. I'm sorry. My friend is just kidding, Luna explained. It's none of your business. The fat man pushed Luna away roughly. Kid, I'm talking to you. Who did you call trash? They surrounded Elias menacingly. Elias looked perplexed as he scanned around and looked at the fat man. I'm not targeting anyone. I'm just saying that everyone here is trash. I'm not just talking about you, don't be angry. Chapter 1175. Are you asking for death? The fat man raged and he grabbed Elias up from the floor. You bastard, acting tough in front of the lady, huh? You idiot, I'm going to slap you until you can't be recognized by your mother. The other students started yelling at him the moment he was grabbed. Luna covered her face and groaned. This guy was too good at looking for trouble. Fatso, listen to me, let go. Elias smiled at him. Who did you just call a fatso? I'm going to punch you to death. The fat student became even angrier. Fatso, do you believe that I can kill you with just a finger? Elias's smile vanished. You're dead. The fat student yelled at Elias and then launched a punch at him. Before his punch even reached Elias, a shadow of a finger sliced through. In the blink of an eye, before Elias's finger even reached him, the force of his finger blew a gust of wind at the fat student's hair. He then pointed his finger at the fatso's torso. The onlookers did not know what happened, but they saw the 120-kilogram student fly across the room all of a sudden. Bang! The fat student crashed on the floor hard. He groaned as he covered his torso with both hands. See? I told you so, but you didn't believe me. Elias sat back on the floor and giggled. Everyone was shocked. Had the sissy-looking man really used just a finger to make the fat student fly across the room? Who's that monster? Did he just make Wei Qiang fly that far away with just a finger? Skills? Inner strength? Don't tell me he came here from the ancient Kung Fu times. You watch too much drama series. Such explosive power with that tiny body frame. Could he have used force? Force? What force? You guys don't know? I read about it in an ancient book. People train strength first, then only revise their form. As the form matures, it becomes a skill. At the end of a skill, it becomes force, hidden force, transformed force, the training of chi, etc. A middle-aged man explained. Bro Young, are you serious about what you just said? All that is real? You youngsters are too young to understand. Of course, it's real. It's recorded in an ancient book. You think it's fake just because you don't know about it. The middle-aged man shook his head. Ancient book? I bet, bro Liang, you've read too many martial arts novels. Fine, take it as I'm lying. You guys are the best, go and fight him. The middle-aged man shrugged. Everyone shook their heads. Even a fat guy was blown away with just his finger, so who would dare to fight him? Sorry. I'm really sorry. Luna was embarrassed as she dragged Elias to flee from the Taekwondo center. She just wanted to find a place for Elias to teach her a few skills, but who knew this would happen? You're really good at causing trouble. Luna glared at Elias after she stopped the car. Lady, it was those people who wanted to attack me. Elias put on an innocent expression. Would they attack you if you didn't call them trash? Luna was helpless. They really are trash. Elias thought about it. Luna's mouth twitched. She had no comeback to this. Just some fancy moves, there's nothing interesting. Elias said with a bored face. Chapter 1176. Noble warrior, why don't you fly to the sky? Luna rolled her eyes at Elias, then threw him out of the car and pointed at the wall to sneer. If you're all that capable, show me how vicious you can be. Prove it to me. Before Luna could finish her sentence, Elias's hand flashed by and a thunderous sound was heard. Luna stared at the wall that had been turned to powder by Elias and found herself frozen on the spot. With just one hand, he had hit the wall into rubble. Parts of the wall had become fine powder and they floated like snow in midair. Luna was speechless. I'm going to kneel to this god. This peasant has failed to recognize your great talents. Luna could swear to God that she had only seen such martial arts skills in novels. Only in novels. If she had not already had second senior brother as her mentor, Luna would definitely have made this crazy guy her instructor. Actually, even if she had second senior brother, she could still get another mentor. But she kept her thoughts to herself. This guy's moves probably could not be learned by just anyone. She could probably only learn a move or two to protect her life. You have some kind of vengeance towards this wall? Elias retrieved his hands and looked at Luna with confusion. No. Luna dumbfoundedly shook her head. No? Then, why did you make me hit the wall? You're crazy. Elias turned around and got into the car. Luna was speechless once again. What the hell? You're the one who is crazy. She had just simply said so, but who would have thought that he would really hit it? Was the crazy one not him? Noble warrior, what would you like to eat tonight? I'll definitely treat you to anything. Teach me 2 moves too. Luna mocked him at heart but was smiling to curry favor on the surface. Then, Luna's phone suddenly rang. It was Gong Shangza. Luna's expression immediately turned serious. Understood, I'll get back immediately. I hope we can topple history's black religion this time, Luna said, then hung up. Elias obviously heard Luna's words. You know black religion too? Elias was instantly energized. Of course, I do. Luna did not hide much from Elias. I'm Spirit's boss. Recently, history released black religion and it impacted our company hugely. Never mind, you wouldn't understand even if I told you. Elias's eyes flew wide and he gaped at Luna with astonishment. You're Spirit's boss? Do you have to be so shocked? Luna grumbled. You should have told me earlier. I designed black religion. What do you think? Not bad, right? Elias said cheerfully, crossing one leg over the other. It was you? The entire world's famous brands were made by you, the god. Luna shot Elias a skeptical look. Of course, she did not believe him. It's really my design, said Elias firmly. I know, you designed it. Luna had a serious expression and nodded cooperatively. I'm telling the truth. Elias was not dumb either. He obviously knew that Luna did not believe him. Don't mess with me anymore, I'll really push you out. Luna gritted her teeth and immediately opened the car door. She was already very annoyed by this incident, yet this guy kept bringing it up. Black religion is really mine. Before Elias could finish, he had actually been pushed out of the car by Luna. Elias knocked on the car window and said blankly, "It's really me." The moment he said that, Luna floored the accelerator and disappeared, leaving Elias behind on the roadside. Chapter 1177. At Spirit's headquarters, when Luna rushed back, Angelo and the national artist, Song Jin, were having an intense discussion. Since Song Jin had agreed to collaborate, he had been experimenting new things with Angelo, but because of Black Religion's sudden appearance, the two had to make some changes to the initial design. "Elder Song. You're here." When she saw Song Jin, Luna quickly greeted him respectfully. Song Jin nodded. "I already know about Black Religion. What do you think, Elder Song?" Luna asked for Song Jin's opinion. Not bad, it has a very strong artistic feel to it, but since we are competing on style, it's not like we're at a dead end." Song Jin smiled and looked confident. Angelo looked emotional as well as he led Luna to the sample room. "Boss, take a look at this." The sample room had numerous clothes in various designs that could dazzle a person, but the instant Luna stepped into it, there was only one dress in her line of sight. As she gawked at the white gown that seemed like clouds of immortality lingered around it, Luna was stunned for a few seconds before she reacted. There was an exclamation of admiration and excitement that she could not hide in her voice. "This is..." Song Jin touched the beard on his chin and said meaningfully, "This is Luotian." "Luotian?" Luna's eyes lit up. "Is that the name of this dress?" "It's very fitting." Luna's head instantly recalled the phrase in Luotian Fu. Light as a frightened goose, graceful as a swimming dragon with the glory of the autumn chrysanthemum, dense with spring pines, like the soft clouds shielding the moon, floating like the snow returning to the wind, looking from afar, bright as the break of dawn, running swiftly to see it, luminous like lotus emerging from clear waters. It was perfectly suitable. This gown named Luotian used the phoenix as its main motif and complemented it with mystical clouds, exhibiting the beauty of China's classic mythologies and expressing the aura of immortality and mystery, creating a striking comparison to Black Religion. In fact, it gave people the yearning for bountiful goodness. A flower in a world, a leaf in pursuit. A song and a sigh, a life for the one. The point was from the style to the meaning behind it. Luotian was entirely created to go against Black Religion. Way awesome. If it's this piece we're talking about, it can definitely compete with Black Religion. Luna said excitedly. Angelo did not relax. He continued, "I'm just worried that the other designer hasn't even expressed their full potential, so, I can't be careless. The other side will probably have even more amazing work coming up." He had never met someone who could make him feel such distress. It was not sure whether that person was only temporarily putting out the fire at history or had they been taken in. If it was the latter, then that would make the situation stickier. On the other end, at history's headquarters, after Elias returned, he did not sit around and had taken the initiative to create new designs, which was a pleasant surprise to Emma. In the design department, Elias called James over and said with fire in his eyes, "James, I need a large amount of cloud pattern brocade." Cloud pattern brocade? James was stunned. As a designer himself, he obviously knew that cloud pattern brocade was a traditional Chinese woven handicraft and held the title of "Every Inch is Gold." It was said to have close to 1,700 years of history. During the ancient times, the brocade represented the highest form of textile. Many generations of emperors' daily clothing were made of it, so it was highly rare and treasured. Chapter 1178. Many huge brands in the market also used cloud pattern brocade, but they were clearly different when compared to the authentic brocade. Plus diamonds, gold silk, high-quality blended fabric, and jadites, Elias listed out quite a few materials at a go. When he heard Elias's request, James was dumbfounded. What was this Elias trying to do? Everything he listed was incredibly rare and expensive. The gold, silk and diamonds were aesthetically pleasing while the jadites need no explanation. The high-quality blended fabric was high-tech materials used for astronaut uniforms. Hold on. I'll go talk to the boss, said James with a weak smile before he quickly turned around and left. James dared not to offend him. Besides, even though the things he wanted were expensive, Emma called the shots and controlled the budget anyway. Moments later, James reached Emma's office and informed her of Elias's request. "I'll prepare it for them as soon as possible," answered Emma without much hesitation. After all, Elias had already proven his capabilities and Emma was very confident about him. If he wanted those materials, then he must want to create better outfits, so of course, she was eager to give him what he wanted. Emma was very efficient. Within 2 days, she had finished gathering all the materials Elias needed. As for the price, it was considered sky-high, especially the jades. It had all been prepared according to Elias's request and the jadeite was of the highest quality. When he got the materials, Elias chased the unnecessary people out of the department and locked himself in the room. 3 days later, Elias submitted all of his drafts and materials that he had polished and processed to Emma, telling her to produce the pieces according to the drafts. Emma opened the draft and felt her heart beat faster. This was like Azura's purgatory. Apart from Azura's ghostly figure, most of them used the mysterious strange beasts from the classic of mountain and sea as the main pattern. Compared to black religion, the level of its avant-garde was considerably higher. "Mr. Elias, what's this piece called?" Emma was a little curious. "Beings," answered Elias. "Good name, but you only produced one outfit," Emma commented uncertainly. "If you have enough funds and have a lot of such materials, then we can also consider mass production," Elias laughed evilly. Emma immediately shook her head. The price of these materials was too expensive and history would not even be able to afford to mass produce them, but if it was only one piece, it could be considered the most treasured piece of the collection, the key highlight. "Ha, Spirit, you guys are about to close down real soon." Emma's mouth curved into a grin and there was a sinister sparkle in her eyes. It took a week to produce Beings and when the 6th day came, Emma released news that history was about to announce the highlight piece of their collection and that it was on a level that far surpassed black religion. When this news was released, all the media swarmed to wait outside history's headquarters. They all wanted to be the first to see history's latest highlight. There were even more history's loyal fans that had started live streaming about the highlight piece and it instantly made it to Weibo's hot topic list. Almost all of the fans were waiting with anticipation. Just one line, black religion, had pushed history to the peak. If this piece was on a higher level than black religion, they simply could not imagine it. History's diehard fans were running high on enthusiasm. They had taken the initiative to insult Spirit and its fans online. The hooting and rivalry online was getting more and more intense, and there was no sign of it stopping. At first, Spirit's supporters would fight back occasionally, but once it went on longer, they all fell into a silence and there was no response from Spirit's end. Chapter 1179. The next morning, journalists from every fashion magazine swiftly swarmed into history's headquarters. Emma was as pleased as Punch. She looked proud as she led the media into the design department. However, in the end, they were dumbfounded when they reached. The entire department was empty. Elias and Beings had vanished altogether. All the reporters present started to cause a commotion as they looked at one another in dismay. CEO Brown, where is your brand's highlight piece? Is there some mysterious surprise? Probably, quickly get ready. Among the discussion, Emma kept a calm expression and lowered her voice to ask James, where's he? Didn't he know I was going to bring the media here today? James was even more taken aback. I've told him. In fact, I reminded him over and over. Don't worry, I'll call him now. At the same time, at Spirit headquarters, Elias had just crashed the office, and the few security guards were all bruised up in the face as they followed behind Elias carefully. They dared not to get close to him. Who are you looking for? Angelo looked at Elias with alarm and asked. Luna, said Elias. Angelo looked at the beaten-up security guards behind Elias and did not say much. He walked to Luna's office and called out, Boss, someone's looking for you. Boss, this person, just barged in, we couldn't stop him. One of the security guards quickly explained. No worries, you guys leave first. When Luna saw Elias, she was first stunned, then she shot him a mean look and turned around to smile sweetly at the guards. When the guards had left, Luna instantly looked unhappy. "You came to my company and hit my guards? Is this how you treat the person who saved you?" Elias looked sternly at her. "Where should I begin, Lady Ning? I'm here to give you a gift. I'm not free." Luna was not free. She looked anxiously at Angelo and said, "Isn't history announcing their highlight piece today? Is there any news?" Angelo was flipping through his computer and looked shocked when he saw something. Then he immediately said, "That's weird. The current news is actually, all the media are criticizing history's hype. They found nothing when they went to history's headquarters. There isn't any highlight piece." "What?" When she heard this, Luna had just sipped on her coffee. She spat it all on Elias's face instead and exclaimed in disbelief, "The highlight piece that's been said to surpass black religion in every aspect is just an empty hype?" She had worried for a night and not slept as she was getting ready for all the impact from history's godlike designer, yet they had made such a mistake. "Lady Luna, there isn't a highlight piece for history, but I do have one for spirit here." Elias silently wiped away the coffee drops on his face and opened the box in his hand. He laid an incredibly luxurious gown out before Luna. Before Luna could look at it, Angelo had jumped up and taken big steps over to carefully hold up the gown in disbelief. So exquisite. Until Luna had examined it clearly, she was dumbstruck as well. This style. It's completely an upgraded version of black religion. Angelo could not help but gasp. Chapter 1180. This time, the classic dark style was elaborated to its ultimate elegance. It was definitely not on par with history's previously produced black religion outfits. The only style it could be compared to was probably only Angelo and the national artist, Master Song Jin's Luotian. So beautiful, and these materials. This is... Whoa, diamonds. And jades. Traditional cloud-patterned brocade. My God, gold silk. Luna was completely overwhelmed on the spot. The materials used to produce this gown alone were out of this world. High-quality blended fabric? Angelo touched beings and his expression changed to one of bewilderment. Blended fabric? What's that? Luna quickly asked. Angelo paused for a moment before explaining, "Let me explain. This kind of material is usually used to produce astronauts' uniforms when they go to outer space." Luna did not know what to say anymore. Even though she was not an expert in the industry, it was enough to know just a little. The one word, expensive, was enough. Thus, she instantly picked up the gown and carefully held it up. Then, she suddenly turned to look at Angelo and looked extremely afflicted. "Elias, tell me honestly, did you steal this from history?" History had even called the media over and said that they would show their highlight piece today. How could they have hyped things up over nothing? Luna was seriously suspecting if this very gown was history's highlight piece and if it had been stolen by Elias. He definitely had the capability to steal the gown. This dress? Elias stared at beings lovingly. "I made it. My ass." Luna did not believe him. "Black religion was mine too." "This one is called beings," said Elias. Luna pinched the space between her brows and did not have the energy to deal with him. "My noble warrior, can't we chat happily? If such a dress had been stolen from Spirit, would you report it to the police?" Elias narrowed his eyes and smiled wryly to ask. "Nonsense, of course, I'd report it to the police," Luna said. "Then, could history be even dumber than you? Even you know how to call the police. Yet history remains silent and is even being criticized by the media for hyping up nothing. Still, they don't say a word." Elias gave a sneaky smile. Luna was stumped for words. "Ugh, who are you calling dumb now?" "Boss, if history had really been robbed of such a dress, they definitely wouldn't remain silent and would be honest with the media. After all, the value of this dress is too high," Angelo immediately declared. At the same time, his expression when he looked at Elias gradually changed. As they spoke, Elias's phone suddenly rang. It was James. Elias picked up the phone and put it on the loudspeaker. Bro Elias, where did you go? Today is the press conference for Beings and all the fashion media are here at History's headquarters. If you disappear, then Beings will disappear too. In such a state of emergency, James's voice remained gentle and he did not sound angry at all. He wanted to shout and scold Elias but sadly, he did not have such guts. What does that have to do with me? Elias asked in reply. Bro Elias, isn't Beings the highlight piece that you designed for History? James asked weakly, and even though his voice was gentle, it was clear enough for Luna and Angelo to hear. Which ear of yours heard me say this? Elias's voice struck out coldly. No, haha, that's our boss who misunderstood. She misunderstood. Beings is my work. I'll handle it however I want to. You might understand what I mean, said Elias.